What's up, Falcon fans? On today's episode, I'm going to talk about three key matchups that I personally want to see against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So this is the final preseason game for the Atlanta Falcons in the month of August. So if you guys like this type of content, hit that like button. If you guys hate this type of content, hit that dislike button. It won't hurt your boy's feelings. Well, maybe just a little bit. But also, if you want to do a huge favor for your boy, by hitting that subscribe button, it will help out the empire grow tremendously. So on that note, let's talk about the third matchup. Xavier Malone, who's the undrafted free agency rookie that came out of Henderson State, going against the Pittsburgh Steelers secondary, and maybe Joey Porter Jr., who's the second rounder from this year's draft class as well, and then probably more likely going against Chris Wilcox and Lou Barku as well for the rest of the game. I can clearly understand that some Falcon fans might be thinking, why not Josh Allen or JJ Agawadzai for this pick, but I personally want to see what Malone can do because of his small frame, who is 5'9", instead of that Arthur Smith typical wide receiver build, who is 6 foot tall or 6'4", etc., etc. So I'm very curious about why the quarterbacks really like his skill sets, because in week 1 against the Miami Dolphins, he was the leading receiver in receiving yards, with 2 receptions for 50 yards in total, 27 long, and then 2 targets as well. And I thought he had a good night, for an undrafted rookie, came out of nowhere in college. And that says something, because I liked how, his first quick step, I like his awareness down the field, I like his hands, I thought he did a pretty good job catching the ball. And then in preseason 2 against the Cincinnati Bengals, he was targeted 4 times, caught 2 receptions for a grand total of 33 yards. Well, of course, his longest was 19 yards, but I really like that Tyler Heineke and Logan Woodside connection on those very important drive that they connected with Malone, where it moved the chain for them. So I thought that was very interesting, and the commitment of being constantly trying to elevate his game, even though we are a running team. So I understand it's kind of hard for him to get those catches when they're not really that much available, but I like the consistency he has done. So that's why I'm very curious to see what he can do against the Steelers, because the Steelers corners are very excellent. And Porter Jr. had a really good preseason game where he caught an interception, and I saw a game tape on him, and I really like his coverage stickiness to the wide receiver position. So that's a very interesting matchup I can't wait to see on paper. And then now let's talk about matchup number 2. Nate Landman, who's also a undrafted player coming from the Buffalo Colorados, who was undrafted last season in 2022. I thought he had a great rookie preseason, and he got to be on the 53-man roster, and he played like a couple of games in his rookie season, not bad. But I really want to see how far he adapted to the Atlanta Falcons defensive scheme. So far he's been looking pretty good, nothing to be worried about, but I want to see, can he handle the speedy wide receivers, the speedy tight ends, and maybe some of the running backs, because he has to get adapted to the zone coverage and making sure that he is not allowed to get beat sideline to sidelines. I want to know if he can read, the offense, and if he can react in time before he doesn't blow his coverage. And believe me, this is going to be a very good test for him, because the Steelers wide receivers are known for their speed and physical prowess. And let's not forget about the tight ends, where they're just monstrous in the trenches, and they go hold their own against any opponent, way back during the Ben Roethlisberger era as well. God, I butcher that name every time I say his last name. I don't know why. It's just Burger. Anyways, besides all that, I know that Nate can handle himself during the run game, because he's a really good, talented, down-the-field thumper, and we've seen it in preseason where he stopped the running back cold, and I like that. So now we just need to see him if he can just cover anybody else that is in the midfield position. So that's what I'm very excited to see. So now let's talk about our final matchup. Kyle Pitts, coming back from injury, going against the Steelers linebackers, is probably just 2 like Mark Robinson, but mostly Elandon Roberts, starting middle linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who was drafted back in 2016, was drafted in the 6th round out of Houston, and he's been with the Patriots in Miami, and now he's signed a contract with the Steelers, and he's not that bad of an inside linebacker. No, I'm pretty sure most people never heard of this guy, but he's been a solid dime piece ever since the New England days, where he just was a really good cover linebacker. You ask him to be in any situation just like the Patriots Belichick way, and he will do it. He's a very versatile linebacker. When the Patriots and the Miami Dolphins asked him to be in the middle linebacker, that's called the Mike position, and he could play very well in the outside linebacker position, and two of those when it comes to the strong side linebacker position and the weak side linebacker position. So that's how much skill set and football knowledge he can really maintain. And also, he's been a starter ever since his rookie season, only started in 5 games in 2016, and then you've been going off and on. But when he was with Miami Dolphins, he played mostly all starting position. He got hurt, injured a couple of times with the Patriots and Miami, but his best season by far is when he was with Miami Dolphins last season in 2022. So obviously that means he's coming off with a really high career year, and I would like to see him going against Kyle Pitts, who we all know who is a stud, who's coming back from injury as well. And so we all saw what he did with the Bengals with that one nice, one-handed catch where he wasn't even looking. He just snatched it out of the hands like it was butter, and that really excites the Atlanta Falcons fan base, knowing that Kyle Pitts is 100% okay. We would like him to perform back in his rookie season with Matt Ryan, where he got that 1,000 receiving yards, and definitely getting up those touchdown stats, because Desmond Ridder really liked using his tight ends, and obviously Arthur Smith really liked using the 2 tight end sets, 11 personnel, 12 personnel sets. So it's going to be very exciting to see how Kyle Pitts is going to come back with the flow, his motions, his keen eye. Can his body react in time? Will he not hesitate? Those are all questions we would like to see in this upcoming preseason, going against a really good linebacking core, especially what I stated earlier about the starting linebacker in Landon Roberts, who is definitely not a chump, who's definitely going to give Kyle Pitts the run for his money. So it's going to be very exciting to see how will Kyle Pitts adapt any situation, knowing that he might get injured again. It's very fascinating to see, because when you get injured for the first time, you always have that consciousness deep down in your mindset, knowing that this could be the final play. So it's very interesting to see how you kind of struggle and toggle that type of emotion, because you can't hesitate, because when you hesitate, you kind of, lose the gateway of getting those opportunities. But it's a mindset, and I'm very interested in seeing how Kyle Pitts battles throughout the entire season. So on that note, if you guys lasted this long to the very end of the episode, thank you so much for taking your own personal time and day to watch these Falcon content. I love making these Falcon videos for you guys. Here's more on the list if you guys are interested in. So what do Falcons do? Rise up. Until the next episode, show love and peace to the world, and peace.